This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
Introduction. Art and science are two broad concepts that reflect the development of the society and its culture. There is a debate concerning the role and status of these disciplines in modern society and their impact on culture. Both disciplines are influenced by social historical conditions and social development, which has a great impact on their current state. Science and art belong to one culture, representing one stage of the social, economic, and cultural development of the society. Main text. Science and art belong to one culture because they reflect the discoveries and experiments of the modern era. In both of them, there are knowledge and academic disciplines. Both of them are based on scientific knowledge and principles, rules, and procedures. Both science and art belong to one culture and are driven by one process, creativity. Creativity is applied to theories and knowledge, terms, and concepts studied by artists and scientists. Both of them belong to one culture because they represent the practical application of knowledge and creative skills. The process of creativity can be seen as a sphere of research that investigates the application of knowledge and practical application of theories. One might attempt to distinguish as science the endeavor to prepare nitrogen mustard with superior properties as a chemotherapeutic agent and as basic science, some general study of cell metabolism. Thus, art uses its own concepts and techniques, which help artists to create a conceptually new approach. For instance, the works of Dali and Picasso vividly portray a new vision and representation of the world around them. Artists and scientists discover and analyze the natural world and reflect on its changes. For instance, great discoveries in natural sciences during the 19th century coincided with the naturalistic movement in literature and art in general. Artists and scientists believe that before any explanation is advanced, an exhaustive collection of instances of a phenomenon should be compiled, out of which axioms regarding that phenomenon will somehow emerge, their correctness being ensured by the infallibility of the data. Art and science belong to one culture because both of them are based on scientific discovery and the desire for something new. In practice, artists and scientists must usually be satisfied if they discover just some of the sufficient and some of the necessary conditions for the effects under investigation. During every historical period, artists and scientists are supposed to reveal an ideal, one which must be approached gradually as the conditions sufficient for the effect to be manifested are widened. The knowledge of such conditions has a practical advantage, for it frees the direction. That is, it opens up new means for bringing about a desired effect. Both art and science champion experiment and observation against authority and tradition as sources of knowledge. Although not new in its general outline, the extent and detail of arguments in favor of an experimental method put art and science well ahead of most rivals for the attention and respect of those concerned with the scientific method. The main difference between these disciplines is that in science, prediction, once made, its confirmation depends often on events over which the scientist can exercise no vestige of control. The real world has constituted a something. The principle of intelligibility asserts man's capacity, perhaps even his obligation to understand that something. Non-science does not make predictions and does not test hypotheses. It does not multiply and diversify the range of possibilities humanly attainable, among which researchers choose those they will make realities. Artists and scientists know that common sense is imperfect, and for this reason, they usually permit the survival even of relations that yield frequent unaccountable failures in prediction. Science and art answer questions of why and how, which help them to create new knowledge and methods. Both art and science are based on evidence and explanations, testing and improvements, evaluation and replication. Scientists and artists work with theoretical norms that are not necessarily self-evident and so gain the power to work with a far greater range of possibilities than before. Both art and science belong to one culture because they deal primarily with what is experienced by all mankind. Science encompasses, in addition, what is experienced in the laboratory by but a few. This distinction seems unimportant. The special experience of scientists is potentially available to all willing to enter the laboratory. As it begins, science judges the acceptability of subject matter much as common sense does. As science and art develop, as their view of the world becomes more highly elaborated, they make these judgments differently. Summary. In sum, art and science represent and belong to one culture based on creativity, the historical development of society, research, and scientific methods of discovery. The main characteristic of science and art is new knowledge creation and new application of existing knowledge, while other academic disciplines use this ready-made knowledge for their purposes. If you want to find more works like this essay on art and science, one culture or two, difference and similarity, head over to ivypanda.com. It has a collection of samples with thousands of submissions covering virtually all academic subjects.